Hi guys, I hope you're good. If you're a regular viewer, you'll know that for the past couple of weeks I've been talking about dredging taking place on my mooring. Well, the work is complete, so I thought I would share some footage with you of it taking place. As you can see, the first thing that needed to happen was to move our boats around to allow space for the dredger to work. There are 19 boats on our moorings spread across 4 lanes. My lane, which is on the far left, was the first to be done, followed by the 2 in the middle, and finally the one on the right hand side. This meant that lots of us had to double moor to each other whilst the work was being done. Not everyone could be here for moving day, and some boats were having engine trouble, but luckily we had a tugboat to help us with some of the moves. One of my neighbours devised a plan for where everybody would be during the dredging. Luckily a few boats were going out cruising, leaving more space for those left behind. It was still a lot like playing a game of Tetris with boats, and timing was crucial because the tug could only operate during high tide. Luckily it was a gloriously sunny day, and everybody was out lending a hand. The tug attaches itself to the narrowboat by putting a rope around the tiller. A cable is then attached to the narrowboat as well, and the winch used to tighten it up, so it in effect becomes one long boat. Not everybody required the use of the tug. Most of us were moving under our own steam. And some people were even showing off with their fantastic reverse skills. Very nicely done. I never realised how big our mooring space was until I saw it without all of the boats. It looked so different. Even the docks were getting really confused. The moves ended up taking much longer than anticipated, and we never would have got it done if it wasn't for the fantastic teamwork of all of my neighbours. And I promise I didn't just stand there the whole time filming. I did get my hands dirty as well. Well, once I'd stopped playing with all the dogs. Once everybody was finally in place, we retired to the pub for a few well-earned drinks. The dredging work started the next morning, and Monty and I were getting used to our new mooring position. It's a really strange feeling when your boat has turned to face the other way. I was actually starting to feel sick. You can see here just how bad the build-up of silt had got on my side of the moorings, and that's why the dredging overran by a few days. The dredger is basically a floating digger, and it scoops the mud from the river into a barge, which is then taken away for the mud to be safely disposed of. Dredging has to take place regularly because silt builds up, meaning that boats eventually will get stuck and not be able to move freely. I don't think our moorings has been dredged in living history, and that was particularly noticeable in my lane, where it wasn't unusual to get stuck in the mud when navigating. And some days, if the water level was low, my boat would sit on the mud rather than floating. After a few days, it was time to move back into my normal mooring spot. One of my neighbours needed a tug back into our lane, so I entrusted my boat to our fantastic lock keepers, who did an incredible job. It is so weird seeing your own boat moving when you're not on it. What they were doing was lining the two boats up to each other, tying them together, and then driving them as if they were one wide beam boat instead of two narrow boats. Check out those skills. That is proper impressive. Once our boats were out of the way, it meant that they could continue with the dredging. It took them no time at all to get the last 3 lanes done. Everyone's back in their normal spaces now, and hopefully will notice the effects of the work once cruising season starts properly. Again, a huge thank you to Craig and his tugboat, Lenny and little Alex from CRT, and everyone at Land and Water. And, as always, a huge thank you to you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe because it makes me feel loved. I'll see you all again soon. Bye.